Connors will serve to start the match.
Fetus, don't you think the very first points of this match or the first few games are going to set the pace here tonight or set the tone?
Well, I think the first couple games are going to be much more important for Patrick than for Jimmy. Jimmy's been in this position before. This is totally new to Patrick. This is really his showcase night in front of the New York crowd.
That's long. 15 all.
One of Patrick's big strengths, Bill, of course, the return of serve. He's been an excellent doubles player in his career, now has become a fine singles player.
That's a shot that's improved over the years in Jimmy's game. He's taken much more advantage of that lefty curve on his serve.
30-15.
40-15.
40-15. Jimmy scratches his head. He thought it was a little long.
That was Dana Lacanto, the umpire in the chair from Alabama, one of the experienced touring umpires.
40-30. Deuce. And a good example. Patrick's fine two-handed backhand on that return.
That's his strong side. If Jimmy's going to attack a wing tonight, he'll be playing much more to Patrick's forehand side.
On the line. And a winner from Patrick.
Two-handed backhand, one of Patrick's best shots.
And an early break opportunity as we look at it again for Patrick.
A very clean backs approach to the backhand. He goes straight through and follows it right into the court.
Second service now for Connors. Double. First double fault for Connors and an early break for Patrick McEnroe. Back on the stadium court at the National Tennis Center, Patrick McEnroe up a break in the first set against Jimmy Connors.
There are the McEnroe seniors, Kay and John Sr., who have logged a few hours in this spectator area here through the years, obviously watching John and now very excited about watching Patrick.
I mentioned to Kay McEnroe before the match, enjoy it, have fun. And she said, yeah, sure.
Love 15. Love 30. What does Patrick have to do? Mix it up against Connors. He doesn't have an especially strong serve.
Well, he's got to get a lot of first serves in, not letting Connors jump all over his second serve, and he's got to be aggressive. He can't expect Connors to come out here and miss balls tonight. He's got to get into the net, as he's done already in the first game, and just keep applying pressure on Jimmy.
And I think he's also, Bill, got to attack the second serve of Connors as often as he can. Just intimidate Jimmy whenever he can on the second serve, because that's what Patrick does well naturally as a good doubles player. He can hit the return and move in behind it. So he needs to do that as often as he can tonight.
Now facing triple break point. 101 miles an hour.
In my mind, his serve, and especially his first serve, Vitas, has improved in the last year, maybe as much as any part of his game.
Patrick, ranked number 35 in the world, was ranked 120 at the end of last year. Second serve, still facing 2 break points.
So far, Patrick looks pretty much in command of his faculties.
He is hanging in there. We had a chat with Mary Carrillo earlier this afternoon, and she was saying that these two have been practicing with each other quite a bit over the last 30 days, and Patrick didn't want to tell anybody, but he's been doing pretty well in those practice sessions.
They have never met in a tournament. This is the first time.
And a roar goes up from this crowd. They're waiting to pull for their man.
As Jimmy breaks right back, so we're all even back on serve. Balmy night in New York. Just joining us. Earlier, Martina Navratilova moved to the second round, and a familiar call goes up from the probably 17,000 fans.
That was great.
Jimmy so very relaxed. Out here, the pressure is on Patrick McEnroe.
Even if Jimmy is a little tight coming into this match, he's an expert in finding ways to loosen himself up, whether it's the banter with the crowd or pumping himself up by arguing with a line call.
Let's watch Patrick now. Good footwork, and he has worked so hard on that part of his game. Follows through high on the forehand. Now quickly in. The two-hander comes over it, and right here gets back quickly on the overhead and knocks it off. But as you were saying earlier too, Vitas, he has been really working on his footwork.
He covered that lob exceptionally well.
On the line.
And if there's a part of Patrick's game that needs work, is his mobility. And that's what's really propelled him into the singles ranks this year. There's that pattern Connor's backhand. Early preparation, straight through the ball.
30-15.
Actually, both players have a very classic looking game.
When Jimmy misses that forehand, it's usually into the net. Through the years, Vitas, that's the shot that's sort of driven him crazy.
You're right. He very rarely will hit it long.
Scores, excuse me, some scores from earlier today. In case you're just tuning in or getting home from work out on the West Coast. Chita Martinez, Yana Novotná, Zina Garrison, all through to the second round. In fact, all of the women's seeds have moved to the second round. .40-30 now.
Good second serve, kicking out to Patrick McEnroe's forehand.
Called a fault.
Dana Lecanto in the chair. And Jimmy Connors holds. We're on serve in the first set. Jimmy Connors and Patrick McEnroe. Patrick taking a moment, letting fans settle. And now we're ready.
Oh, and Patrick stopped. This crowd's going to go crazy again. Dana Lecanto has asked both players to replay this point.
Jimmy loves to play to that kind of pattern, moving his opponent around, then setting himself up for that one-handed back, and there he chips low, always on his toes. Fantastic footwork, and now as soon as he sees the opening after that good backhand, he moves in for the kill, even though he'd hit a winner.
Love 15. All. We should mention that during the changeover, Jimmy Connors told the chair umpire, Dana Lecanto, not to overrule because he had 2 chances to overrule in that previous game and didn't. So he said he didn't want to hear him overrule for the rest of the night.
And we'd have to say he was pretty adamant about the way he
say that's fair. Yes.
Dana.
Fair assessment. I wonder how much of that is Jimmy getting himself charged up, getting pumped. Line. Patrick puts it away with the overhead.
Patrick had that great comment when he got to the semifinals of the Australian. It was Edberg, Lendl, Becker, and McEnroe. And he went to the press conference and said, well, what'd you guys expect? Isn't this what you thought was going to happen? I'm sure older brother John is probably watching tonight. He plays the first match tomorrow morning, so he's no doubt not here.
Oh, he's a very articulate young man. He went to school in your neck of the woods.
Sure Stanford. Played on an NCAA championship team there. 40-15.
First double fault of the evening for Patrick.
Never made it to, never won a singles title. 5 doubles titles, including French Open, 1989. And we're at deuce.
A little loose on that forehand. And Fetus, as I watch Patrick, I kind of call him a stand-up guy as we look at Jimmy Connors' unbelievable record there. Over $8 million in prize money. Last won that title back in Tel Aviv, and an amazing 109 career tournament titles. Patrick's much more of a stand-up type player is what I was starting to say than brother John, and not quite as flexible. He doesn't look as flexible.
He's a little bit more meticulous in his preparation, whereas John seems to be improvising on almost every shot. He never hits the same shot twice, whereas Patrick helps you get into a groove sometimes. So people enjoy playing against him because he provides such a nice ball to hit against.
Patrick holds serve as you look at Mayor David Dinkins of New York, and we can thank
Peters, you played Jimmy a lot in your career. What made his left-handed serve tough for you?
Well, he tried to exaggerate the hook. He never really served very hard, but you almost always knew whenever he was down a break point or needed a point badly, he'd spin it in drastically into your backhand, and his placement was always very good.
40 love. How has Jimmy's game changed over the years as you look at his serve again?
There is good ball toss, gets up to it, and really hooks around the ball. Good extension on that one, especially for a 39-year-old.
39 next week. But over the years,
well, when I played against him many years ago, he was happy just to stay back on the baseline a lot more.
Well, we'll have more about that in a moment. Ranked 35 in the world and 25 years old.
Bill, to get back to your question about what are some of the changes that I've seen in Jimmy's game over the years, I think his service has improved over the years. Before, he was happy just to play back from the baseline and win points from there. Now, I think he's always looking for that short ball to come in and try to close the points off a lot quicker.
30
love. As you grow older and some of the younger guys can out-quick you, you obviously have to outthink them.
Well, we heard from Pancho Segura earlier, too, and Segura was one of the all-time great tacticians in taking a short ball and sneaking in behind it. In fact, we all called him Sneaky because that's what he did so well. As soon as he'd see a ball floating, he would do that, and he instilled that in Jimmy at a fairly early age, and I think it's being used a lot more now by Connors.
I know they were always complaining that Jimmy didn't use that play enough, but he certainly did pretty well from the baseline.
That's on the line.
Patrick really nails this two-hander as the McEnroe crew looks on over there. Watch the way he sets up for this now. Connors really has a big opportunity here, and right here, Jimmy, instead of kneeling, it kind of took a little pace off the ball, left the whole court open, and Patrick hit his favorite shot cross court.
I think he felt that Patrick was not really going to go play the shot, and he just nonchalanted into the corner. And instead, Patrick says, here, take that, and whack cross court.
I was surprised that he didn't nail that short ball.
15 love.
It seems that both players are just fencing right now. They're both trying to establish themselves in a match. And as it goes on, I think you'll see Jimmy getting a lot more aggressive. nice to see a couple rallies in this day and age of high-tech rackets and power game.
What do you think about the physical situation, Vitas? Any question at all that Connors can go 5 out here in this kind of humidity?
I think it's a day-to-day thing. There have been days where Jimmy in the last year or so where he doesn't wake up and feel really that good, tries to push himself and really can't quite do it. But he's gotten a lot of rest since team tennis, taking some time off, and he's really fresh, playing well last week at the Hamlet.
Yeah, we should mention that Connors last week led in the 3rd set 4-3 with a service break against Stefan Edberg and was right in the match. But that was best of 3, and that wasn't the U.S. Open.
First serve.
You mentioned 5-setters, and you immediately think back to the French and Michael Chang. Forty love, second serve for Connors. And a love game for Jimmy Connors.
Is so different when you think of Wimbledon, Vitas, and the quiet surroundings, the tall dark green and the big roof and everything. This place is just like madness compared to Wimbledon.
Cement jungle here.
Yeah, it is totally different.
It's a rumble in the jungle.
Goes wide. Jimmy got out ahead of that one. Serve only 89 miles an hour.
There's it, forehand again. Try to slice under it. Let's have another look now at the Connors forehand. The racket's back. Now watch the racket come underneath the ball. That one he swept over. Still in the point. Here comes the slice right here. High back and then trying to swing under it. You could see it there. The face just trying to slice under the ball. And that is where Connors has had his problems through the years. Here's a look at the return of serve grip.
And that grip is the reason why he has trouble getting way under it. He has it all the way over to the right side, so when the ball gets low, he has trouble getting all the way underneath it. Everybody used to say slice low to Jimmy's forehand. So that's his weakness. Most people would be very happy to have that forehand. You hear a lot of that screeching going on during the match, and that's Jimmy's feet shuffling the whole time. He never commits himself too early. Always perfect footwork, sets up just right, and then he'll plant and hit the ball just as it bounces.
It's another little idiosyncrasy of Connors. He taps those toes as he walks forward.
Right.
Scuffs the toe.
Ace number 1 and 109 miles an hour for Patrick.
Well, the one Patrick, or I should say the one McEnroe family member that's obviously not there, a guy named John, who's playing tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock.
So he's probably already tucked away and watching baby brother Patrick. That's another element of the game that you don't see as much, Barry, anymore, is that really deep hitting. Look at the footwork. Instead of taking one big step, he'll always take a couple little ones and set himself up just right. He's very meticulous about how he prepares for a shot. Moves right in, always on the toes, never flat-footed. And then when he really wants to put his whole weight into it, he jumps into the ball, lunges into it. But always with a low center of gravity.
40-30.
Game McEnroe. 4 games.
So we go to 4-all. As Patrick and Jimmy both take some time to towel off on a muggy night, no wind. Some more women's scores. Pam Shriver, winner in straight sets.
Again, the Connors forehand letting him down just a bit now here. These are crucial points. One of the few times Jimmy's come in and he goes for the lob right away. Vitas, is that a good play just to make sure that he knows he can't stick his nose over that net?
Well, he serves notice that not to get too close to the net because he will keep you honest with a lob.
From Patrick McEnroe.
This by far the best shot we've seen all night from either player. Watch Patrick on this shot now. He plays some great defense here, scrambles over, and on the full run, just inside that sideline. And he used his wrist a little at the very end of that shot.
And I was about to say what a great angle by Jimmy, but Patrick answered it with a screaming forehand. There's that improved mobility by Patrick McEnroe. But Jimmy's quick to answer. You can do it, I can do it better.
Good reflex volley there by Connors. He got jammed. Patrick really concentrating. As you said, Bill, it is muggy out there. These guys going to the towel now after almost every point.
30-all.
Called wide, I think.
Wide and long.
Yeah.
A delayed call by the linesman.
Let's take another look at it.
I think it was clearly long. Jimmy made a good stab at it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good 4 to 5 inches.
From another angle here, Patrick on the full run, but that ball definitely drops over the baseline.
And Jimmy fights off a break point. Back to deuce.
And Vitas, I think Connors, in the history of tennis, may be one of the 2 best 30-40 players on his own serve. The other, Pancho Gonzalez, who served 85% first serves in at this point.
An amazing thing is that Jimmy does it from the baseline generally, where Pancho used to serve up the big serve.
Another break opportunity for Patrick. McEnroe with the break. Back at the National Tennis Center, Patrick McEnroe serving now for the first set.
Those natives were restless out there. I'm telling you, I walked by that gate a couple hours ago and they were all over the place out there.
Well, I didn't have to wait since 4:30.
107. Not bad. Saw Richard Krajicek earlier.
Well, everything
burning
looks
that
like
baby.
slow motion compared to him.
The radar gun.
Patrick's being a little bit more aggressive than Jimmy right now. Every short opportunity, he hits a really good approach shot, firm, and gets into the net.
Another look here as Connors scrambles, tries to get that lob as high as possible. This one is going to go wide, but
very nice. And triple set point now for Patrick McEnroe.
Barry, one adjustment I see in Patrick's game for tonight's match is that he's trying to put a little extra stick on his first serve. Generally, his strategy is to get the first serve into play and win the point with his ground strokes. But tonight he feels that against Jimmy, who returns serve so well, he's got to put a little extra zip and try to put Jimmy off guard right off the bat.
Still 2 break points for McEnroe. Jimmy trying to climb back. 1 more to go.
it's by far the biggest point of the set right here for Patrick and Connors. But you see Jimmy now giving him a little bit of extra time, a couple feet behind the baseline.
That was Patrick McEnroe's best service in this set, 111 miles an hour, and Jimmy answers it with his best return. You said it earlier, Barry. Jimmy plays the big points better than maybe anyone that's ever played the game.
Now Patrick steps back. Jimmy clinches the fist, goes to the towel. Now with an opportunity to break back.
And he moved in closer to the baseline that time, and he's getting himself pumped up.
just catches the tape. The court was open. If that ball goes over, it's a winner for sure.
We're at the National Tennis Center. First round action from the 1991 US Open. Jimmy Connors and Patrick McEnroe. We are on serve. Welcome those of you just joining us. Jimmy Connors facing 3 set points. Brought it back to deuce. Then had a break to get even in the set. And it was McEnroe's turn to fight back.
And again, one of Patrick's best serves out wide. Connors with that great two-handed stretch. Almost hits the winner cross court. Watch this return now. This ball really draws Connors out. He lunges for it, uses the pace, blocks it, and on the full run, he almost gets this ball back in play. Who said he slowed down?
Not I.
He looks awful quick.
Set point number 4.
And there's the forehand again.
And the first set goes to McEnroe, 6-4.
Well, you know, when you analyze these two guys' games, they basically play pretty much alike. They've got the good two-hander. They've got a good return of serve. Love to keep the ball in play. Very similar styles facing each other out here tonight.
Love 15.
And at the beginning of the match, we felt that Patrick McEnroe might start feeling the butterflies, feel a little bit shaky, but he hasn't been affected at all by the crowd or by Jimmy.
You saw it all. They don't come much better than that point. Connors shoveling the ball back.
That's a new shot in his repertoire. I don't think he's ever tried to hit that shot before.
One he probably hopes not to use again.
It's called the frying pan. And then he made a great recovery with the backhand. Patrick hit it down low to his backhand. Great exchange. And then Jimmy just nets that backhand. Out too wide.
Love 30 now.
You're right, Barry. You don't see much better than that.
They did it all on that point. There's the Connors grip on the serve now. He's pretty far around towards the forehand side. Oh.
Third double fault for Connors.
He must have heard you talking about a service grip.
I'm like the kiss of death. I say something about a good point and nothing.
Triple break point now for McEnroe.
Love seeing that long follow through. He keeps the ball in his racket for such a long time. That's where he gets all that depth. Keeps the ball very close to his opponent's baseline all the time.
I think that two-hander of Connors has passed a few players over the last 15 years. That's gone by some real good tennis players.
So Connors staves off 2 break points. Patrick still has 1 left.
It's a big game here. First game of the second set, Bill. If he could break early, big psychological advantage. And a well-timed lob by Patrick there. He just waited for Jimmy to make his move and then lifted it up.
Patrick McEnroe starts the second set with a
I've never seen a happier fan getting into the ground.
I'm telling you what, that's not easy to do. You got a ticket for the night session. You say, what do you mean I can't go in there?
That's love and tennis, being there from 4:30 waiting for the night session.
That was terrific.
Jimmy Connors generates that kind of interest here at the US Open. Right now, Jimmy is down a set and a break to Patrick McEnroe. Take a look at the numbers from the first set.
It's really interesting. I didn't think Connors was serving that well, but that's a much better looking serve than Patrick's in that first set. Everything else pretty even.
Now winners, McEnroe with a 2-to-1 edge.
Jimmy's always had a very high percentage of first serves in, but he doesn't really hurt you with the first serve.
Love 30. Let's take another look at it. The winner from Connors.
Patrick McEnroe hits a very good approach shot. Even though Jimmy got a bad bounce, he adjusted by bending his knees, getting lower to the ground, and just blocked the ball straight up the line.
Third ace of the match for McEnroe.
That's been the difference between the two serves. Patrick has taken a few more chances on that first serve, going for a couple of aces. Classic looking service grip.
Little loose here, beat us in the second game, and very important game here for Patrick.
Some of the scores from this afternoon. Number 1 seed Boris Becker. Stefan Edberg dropping a set. Michael Stieck in straight sets. Jim Courier in straight sets. Of course, the 5-setter Von Lendl facing 2 match points, coming back to beat Richard Krajicek. Jimmy couldn't quite get there.
You know what's interesting about those scores, the one guy we haven't heard much about at all since we arrived here, Michael Stieck. He's only the Wimbledon champion. And
he looked awfully strong up in the dressing room. There's Jimmy lunging for that shot, couldn't quite get to it.
What does that mean?
That he couldn't get to the ball.
He looked awfully strong in the dressing room.
Well, I didn't realize how big Michael Stieck was.
Again, that Connors forehand letting him down badly.
And we're back to deuce. And it is a warm night here in New York. David Wheaton in 4 sets. Emilio Sanchez also through to the second round. Stick is a big kid.
Well, I meant that 2 years ago I saw him win at Memphis, and he just seemed like a skinny young kid. And this year he's a real developed young man.
Oh.
That is an unbelievable forehand on the run from Connors. But the court opens up for Patrick.
One of Jimmy's real strengths is he does not give up from point to point. He tries just as hard the first point, last point. Patrick, on his toes, really has improved his mobility. He's moving around the court so beautifully today. On his toes, and there wins the point.
Connors down. Looked like he slipped.
So McEnroe holds off a couple of break points as you look again at Jimmy.
They're right there. His left foot just kind of went out from under him. And you know, the other area I think Patrick has really improved, Vitas, is concentration. We saw Patrick play John in the finals there in Chicago, and John will tell you that match was a lot closer than the scores indicated. It was a 3-setter. John beat him, but it was some real good tennis, and I think that day he improved his game quite a bit. His concentration is tremendous.
Patrick won the first set of that match. 3-6 and then 6-2, 6-4 to brother John. Love 15.
This is a must game for Connors. He's down a break. Needs to hold serve here.
He seems to be favoring his leg a little bit after that jolt he gave to it before. He loves to tap those toes.
Yeah.
He's that one little idiosyncrasy he's had over the years.
15 all.
Connors now looks like he may have stretched something. Yeah, he's limping a little bit right now, no question about it. The left leg.
$15 all. And Jimmy stumbled a little bit coming to the net and then pulled up
He is definitely,
after the ball was called out. Sorry, Barry.
No, that's right, Bill. He's definitely favoring that left side now.
Let's take another look, Vitas, at Jimmy.
He got down, he hit a pretty good shot there, and seems to be afraid to put pressure on his left knee. And there he's really favoring it.
Ooh.
(30-15), second serve. Nice overhead. 40-15 now.
(40-30).
40-30.
Patrick walks up and has a bit of a look at that service call. He won the point anyway. That's about all you'll see from Patrick. A little contrast to the emotional outside of Patrick McEnroe and his brother
I was holding off
John.
with any comment there.
No, I think that's fairly obvious.
Despite the limp, game Connors.
Actually, Connors, even though lately has had some injuries, Vitas, through his career, he's been a pretty durable type of player.
That's out.
And Barry, if he has had injuries in the past, he certainly wouldn't let anybody know about it.
Good look at the percentages. Good players up there. Connors right up there, close to Lendl.
Not a bad group. 15 all. Long. Connors was moving much better on that point.
It's one of the best points Connors has played so far tonight. He picked just the right opportunity to get in behind it. Now watch it here because he's quick to get in, lunges for a forehand volley. Now watch the footwork here. Anticipates perfectly and cuts off the forehand volley. Although right there it looked like he still might be having just a bit of pain. Vitas, at this point, is he going to try and make the points shorter, maybe cut down the total time of each point?
Well, during the changeover, he switched rackets, and I think he went to a little bit looser racket to get a little bit more spring. I think he's going to try to start speeding up his ground strokes, shorten the points.
15-30.
Definitely getting more pace into those two.
A lot of times he'll fiddle with the tensions of his rackets. There he moves in. There's a good pass, and then he starts favoring that knee again.
Yeah.
And double break point for Connors.
Net.
Barry, didn't you find it very difficult to play somebody when you see an injury and you inadvertently start to change your strategy? You try to move him around a little bit more because you think he's not running just as well. That's something you have to avoid.
Exactly. Chang with those cramps in the French Open. Lendl's looking over there. He can hardly walk. Chang ends up winning the match.
And that match, instead of Lendl really hitting out on the ball, he just tried to move Chang around, and he lost that aggressive play and ended up losing the match.
Finals of the U.S. Open right here. Ashley Cooper and Mal Anderson. Anderson sprains his ankle. It was really tricky, and actually Cooper did. Double fault.
Second double fault for McEnroe, and Connors even things up here in the second set. And actually, Jimmy doesn't look that concerned, at least right there he didn't. And he was moving much better during that game.
Well, he almost seems to be hitting the ball a heck of a lot better after the injury.
Just out. Take a look at Patrick here, Vitas.
Well, Patrick is now trying to focus back on the way he was playing in the first set, really trying to move Jimmy around, tracks back, making sure that the overhead is out.
Very nice. 15 all.
Jimmy loves to hit that backhand a lot of the times behind you. He just because of that early preparation, he can wait that extra fraction, watch you commit, and then hit behind you into the open court.
Maybe Jimmy just ran out of gas. The longest point of the match.
And I'll tell you what, two players can't hit the ball much cleaner than that for that long a period of time.
If you want to write a textbook on how to hit it, pure, beautiful shots, that was it right there. Corner to corner, both jockeying for position. And Connors just finally said, hey, this is too much. And he went for the knockout punch and missed wildly.
15-30. See Patrick trying desperately to stay dry out here in this humidity. All. Keep running me like that, I'm not going to play anymore. I'm going to go home. I doubt that.
Yeah, Patrick, you got some nerve running me around like that.
You kidding?
Where's your respect? Huh?
Throw respect out the door here in New York.
13 years, the difference in age.
Patrick was 8 years old when Connors won that first U.S. Open back in 1974.
.40-30, and now Patrick takes a stroll toward the net, and you mentioned a young Patrick McEnroe with the tongue out.
I've seen John stick his tongue out just like that. Must be an inherent family trait.
And that was the year Jimmy Connors won his first United States Open.
No.
My, how time flies.
Well, Vitas, I remember in 1979 when you and John came to San Francisco to play Davis Cup. John said, I'm going to bring my little brother along. Can he play a few points and just put a little exhibition on? He was 14 years old. Hit the ball pretty well in those days.
Good old days, Barry. Patrick's done very well forging his own style, Barry. It would have been so easy to try and copy some of John's characteristics, but he wouldn't have become Patrick McEnroe, his own singles player.
I have to imagine it was tough growing up in John's shadow. They
Definitely.
Two very different individuals.
Just when you used to see a lot of those Bjorn Borg clones. They dressed the same, they had the same strokes. Unfortunately, they couldn't hit two balls in a row like that. Great angle on that passing shot.
Deuce again. They have been playing for an hour and 13 minutes.
It's been at a very good clip indeed. These guys have used every part of the court so far.
That's the first time we've seen Connors serve and volley. Got in quick behind that serve. And I got to think that Jimmy is now trying to make these points as quick as possible.
Well, to stay in the match, he's got to keep the points a lot shorter and try to keep Patrick a little bit off balance.
Break opportunity for Patrick.
Great example where Jimmy goes on his serve during a big point. Loves to pull you out wide.
Would you say he does that 9 out of 10 times, Vitas?
9 out of 10 times. You know where it's going. They're right up that line, way out to Patrick McEnroe's backhand, and that opens up the whole court for him for that two-handed backhand shot. Because it's very difficult for you to hook it back to Jimmy's forehand side. And you know he's much more confident on the backhand.
You're looking down there from the MetLife blimp into the stadium court. Patrick McEnroe and Jimmy Connors. As we near the end of day 2 of the US Open, at deuce in the second set. Once again, Jimmy goes to the towel.
"25 seconds now in between points." These guys are using up most of those 25 seconds between each point.
And Connors holds. I doubt that.
Yeah, Patrick, you got some nerve running me around like that.
You kidding?
Where's your respect? Huh?
Throw respect out the door here in New York.
13 years, the difference in age.
Patrick was 8 years old when Connors won that first US Open back in 1974.
.40-30, and now Patrick takes a stroll toward the net. And you mentioned a young Patrick McEnroe with the tongue out.
I've seen John stick his tongue out just like that. Must be an inherent family trait.
And that was the year Jimmy Connors won his first United States Open.
No.
My, how time flies.
Well, Vitas, I remember in 1979 when you and John came to San Francisco to play Davis Cup. John said, "I'm going to bring my little brother along. Can he play a few points and just put a little exhibition on?" He was 14 years old. Hit the ball pretty well in those days.
Good old days, Barry. Patrick's done very well forging his own style, Barry. It would have been so easy to try and copy some of John's characteristics, but he wouldn't have become Patrick McEnroe, his own singles player.
I have to imagine it was tough growing up in John's shadow.
Definitely.
Two very different individuals.
Just when you used to see a lot of those Bjorn Borg clones. They dressed the same, they had the same strokes. Unfortunately, they couldn't hit 2 balls in a row like Bjorn. Great angle on that passing shot.
Deuce again. They have been playing for an hour and 13 minutes.
It's been at a very good clip indeed. These guys have used every part of the court so far.
That's the first time we've seen Connors serve and volley. Got in quick behind that serve. And I got to think that Jimmy is now trying to make these points as quick as possible.
Well, to stay in the match, he's got to keep the points a lot shorter and try to keep Patrick a little bit off balance.
Break opportunity for Patrick.
Great example where Jimmy goes on his serve during a big point. Loves to pull you out wide.
Would you say he does that 9 out of 10 times, Vitas?
9 out of 10 times. You know where it's going. They're right up that line, way out to Patrick McEnroe's backhand, and that opens up the whole court for him for that two-handed backhand shot. Because it's very difficult for you to hook it back to Jimmy's forehand side. And you know he's much more confident on the backhand.
You're looking down there from the MetLife blimp into the stadium court. Patrick McEnroe and Jimmy Connors. As we near the end of day 2 of the US Open at deuce in the second set. Once again, Jimmy goes to the towel.
"25 seconds now in between points." These guys are using up most of those 25 seconds between each point.
And Connors holds.
There's a good shot of Jimmy coming in. He gets in close to the net, and now this is that famous sky hook a la Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
And now let's get an update from the grandstand court. Here's Leif Shiras.
Thank you, Bill.
A few empty seats near the top, but a great crowd.
Oh, Barry, a lot of people had high anticipation for this match, and I don't think they've been disappointed so far. We've seen a great display of ground strokes from both players.
No question about it, Vitas. They have hit the ball, what I would like to say, cleanly. I mean, you can really hear it popping off the center of those strings out there.
Deuce.
Patrick a little mad at himself there. Overhit the ball. Had the open court. Instead of stroking it a little bit, he overhit. That time, Jimmy, good second effort. Gets the shot. Patrick hit that ball long. Let Jimmy off the hook.
Ace number 6. Advantage McEnroe. And Patrick holds. So we're all tied at 3. Looking back, Vitas, at the draw. And what are the odds of this kind of matchup in the first round?
Well, I was there when they were pulling the draw out. Weller Evans, the director of the ATP. I stood next to him. I said, give the New York guys a break. Let's spread them out all over the draw. And the names he pulls out, Connors versus Patrick McEnroe.
15 love. I wonder what was going through Patrick's mind, playing a man who had Had so many great matches with his older brother. Finally, the spotlight is on him on the stadium court.
Well, I talked earlier to his coach, Carlos Gaffi, and he said that Patrick was a little bit nervous. He made sure that he would stay home yesterday and not come out to the Open and have everybody talking about the match. But he's proven everybody wrong. He looks calm as a cucumber out there.
Oh, I think since he got to the semifinals of the Australian, Bill, he has come of age. He knows that he's up there with the top guys and can play with them and beat them. Speaking of draws, you know, some of the tournaments in the old days, you'd start the draw, you get about 15 names out of the hat, and they'd look at the draw and say, this doesn't look too good. Let's start over again. Yeah.
They would never do that in San Francisco.
Yeah.
When we played on the Bill Reardon's tour, Jimmy Connors would get the first pick on his side of the draw, Nastasi. Then he'd come down to Sandy Mayer and myself for the leftovers. But those were really the good old days.
30 love. Once again, a look down from above from the MetLife blimp. And you see full stadium and lit above the blimp. And nice night for flying, guys, up there.
Connors' serve really dropping off now, 72 miles per hour. We are in the 7th game, which many people feel is a very critical game in any set.
4th double fault.
Seems like Jimmy's shaking off what injury he had to his knee. He may have just jammed it, and it's taken him a couple games to loosen up a bit. Add that to his list of impressive
Another record.
awards.
38-year-old Rookie of the Year. Thirty love.
Patrick with 3 big serves here. This may be the best game he's served this set for sure. Changing the pace up. Not a lot of speed, but good change up.
Winner in a love game from Patrick McEnroe. We're back at 4-all.
You talk about Grand Slam titles. Patrick won the French Open doubles with Jim Grab back in 1989. He really didn't get a lot of recognition for that. That's a big title.
No, that was just about the time when he realized that he had to start working on his mobility. Went out with him a couple times on the court, and he is one of the hardest working kids out there. Loves to do those 2-on-1 hop-in drills. Does a lot of off-court training, running, weight work on his legs. Former
Keith
Met
Hernandez.
Keith Hernandez. Yeah, one of our boys.
Out with a bad back. Patrick does not look intimidated. He looks very much in control.
Not at all, Bill. There's, once again, he gets around it. Jimmy hits what seems to be a really good shot. Almost a put away, and Patrick gets around and just snaps it away for a winner.
And now, triple break point for Patrick McEnroe.
There it was, Vitas, that same serve you talked about, the one out wide when he gets down.
We heard Patrick say, yep, as the ball sailed by, a winner from Connors. And McEnroe still with 2 break points. Playing for an hour and a half, and you look at the face of Jimmy Connors.
I can tell you, when you hit an approach shot and a guy goes for a passing shot, you know he's hit it. There's no question you've lost the point. Patrick knew it. Looked to me like he rushed that one a little bit. Changed his mind and came under the ball instead of hitting through it on that two-hander. So 2 break points slip away here.
Patrick says if he could just get this game, get a 2-set-to-love lead under his belt, that he'd really have Jimmy against the ropes. And he just rushed that a bit.
3 of 9 on break points.
Oh, and a double fault.
5th double fault for Connors, and the break goes to McEnroe.
There's the entire McEnroe crew down there. John Sr., Kay, and Tatum to the left. Just out of sight. There she is. Second from the left, from the far left. And we were speculating that John is at least at home getting ready to play tomorrow morning. He's up early. Otherwise, I'm sure he'd be here watching Patrick, one of his biggest fans.
On the line. Great forehand.
Good shot of that footwork. Gets the racket back. Good early preparation, and he really stayed with the ball. Carried it all the way through, straight up the line. Great depth. And Barry, what I haven't seen Jimmy do too much of today is jump on the second serve a little bit more.
Yeah.
He usually loves to do that. He loves to do that against opponents to kind of get them a little bit scared about serving their games out.
Well, the one thing he hasn't been able to do much, Vitas, is kind of slip in behind any floating balls. Patrick has hit the ball very solid, kept it low, and kept it very deep so far. No.
Patrick goes for the old choke sign around the neck. I don't think that was as much a choke as Patrick being distracted by Connor's movement in the back of the court. He saw Jimmy move all of a sudden. He did go grab his neck. Don't feel bad, Patrick. The best of them have choked.
couple of big points here now for Connors.
Jimmy not doing real well on break point opportunities there. Oh, and he nets it.
And we're even at 5-all in the second set.
There's something about the air here in Flushing Meadows. It does not allow you to serve out a nice, easy match. There's always that up and down. You think you have a guy against the ropes, he comes back.
Very nice.
McEnroe just overpowering him from the baseline there.
Patrick McEnroe really hits that backhand so cleanly. Great preparation, and he gets down really nicely to the forehand. Good knee bend, straight through the ball.
Good concentration too. You can see it in his eyes there. He is really working hard right now. Nothing like getting you charged up when you lose your serve, when you're serving for the second set like that.
Love 30. $15-30, but you know, Barry, what really impresses me is Patrick is taking his time, not getting rushed, has his composure, like he's been here plenty of times before. And in fact, this is only his second U.S. Open.
It's a real good point, Bill. It looks like he's a veteran out there playing against Connors tonight. His demeanor is real smooth. He hasn't gotten upset at all, and he has concentrated extremely well against one of the best competitors in the game.
Well, I think that's a lot of that comes from his experiences in doubles. Did play in center court, finals of the French. So he's had some Grand Slam experience.
Grown from the crowd and double break point for McEnroe, and another chance to serve for the match at 6-5. Crowd exhorting Connors. One down. In. And once again, Jimmy claws his way back to deuce.
And once again, Jimmy goes to his bread and butter, Barry. Wide lefty serve out to Patrick McEnroe's backhand. Opens up the whole court. Great shot out wide. Look at how much court he has open. And then he'll just slide that forehand down the line. And Patrick will net it. There's so much court that Patrick has to cover from one side to the other.
Game Connors. Players waiting for the crowd to settle down.
It's always a nice feeling to open up with that first point when a big game appears like it is right now. Get you off to a nice little start there on your own serve.
And the pump from Connors. Listen to the crowd.
How you like that, Venus?
I love it.
I liked it. It was pretty good. Not bad, Jimbo. He gets down to that shot in here. He lunges for that backhand volley. Gets down like a 16-year-old to that volley. Oh, yeah.
He's talking to you, Vitas. You guys got your private network going here.
I didn't know Jimmy bought USA Network.
30-15, it's basic service, Venus. Everybody gets it. Barry, you didn't mention us.
Oh, no call. Oh, that ball could have been wide. Connors thought for sure it was wide. Well, it's ironic because early, remember he said to LeConto, do not overrule. And here's a chance for him to overrule.
Ace number 8. And Connors is upset.
Let's listen now. Jimmy's going to have a few words here.
Dana LeConto, the man in the chair. How can you miss them all, I think was the translation.
Dana LeConto from Gadsden, Alabama.
And now into the tiebreaker. Connors 2-2 and tiebreakers 10-4 for McEnroe.
Playing seriously? Are you paying attention?
And Jimmy's starting to limp just a touch once again. That one was called out.
And Barry, that was a delayed call also.
Yeah.
Doesn't it always seem when it gets tight in the match that everybody gets tight all together? The
Yeah.
linesmen, the players, the umpires.
Even at 1.
No one is exempt from nerves at the U.S. Open.
Big serve from McEnroe. 2-1.
The perplexed and very concerned parents of Patrick there. John Sr. on his right, Kay. They have been through so many tense moments here at this stadium. And the one shot that has worked so well for Patrick tonight, the lob. He has caught Jimmy 3 or 4 times on crucial points, right up that line, just lifting the ball over Connors, and it worked again that time.
And you mentioned the similarities in their backhands, Barry. He holds the ball really well. Jimmy anticipated a cross-court dink off the backhand, and that way, even though the lob wasn't that good, he won the point.
Jimmy gets one of them back. Still down 3-2.
Came up with a big serve, Barry, when he needed it there.
We want to remind our viewers, especially those of you on the East Coast, we'll be staying with this match as long as we can. Probably for those of you on the East Coast, another 25 minutes. For the rest of the country, we'll be here probably till the conclusion of the match.
Jimmy played the point perfectly, tried to put the pressure back on Patrick McEnroe. Shot of Patrick getting to the ball. Jimmy was at the net, missed that easy volley, and Patrick he dodged the bullet there. He's happy.
But he kept the ball real low on a very, very tough forehand up the line. And like you said, Vitas, Connors was sitting on that shot.
It was low, but that was a gimme for Jimmy. Had the whole court to hit into.
Looking down from the MetLife blimp. 4-2 McEnroe, second set tiebreaker. McEnroe won the first set 6-4.
Wanted to jump all over that one, just rushed it.
Jimmy knows 2 points away from being down 2 sets to none.
And you can see came over the ball, but it was a little late.
Very firm approach shot by Jimmy Connors.
He leaned into it, didn't he, Vitas? Really put his weight behind that shot.
And he really tightened up on the wrist. Wanted to make sure that he hit it really firm and deep.
can't have much more pressure on the forehand than Connors had right here. A deep shot, and he just follows through perfectly. If he ever needed it, it was right then.
Five-four now.
Patrick did not like the toss. He'll start again.
And now Jimmy Connors faces double set point.
Jimmy just barely got his racket on it, anticipated where Patrick was going to hit it, and Patrick was not going to make the same mistake twice. He made sure that he put that one away.
And that little short ball was not that easy a shot for Patrick right there.
Check that set point, Patrick. And the second set goes to Patrick McEnroe in the tiebreak. And a break opportunity for Connors. And what does Jimmy have to do now, down 2-0?
Well, I don't think Jimmy's going to change his game very much. It's only been a matter of points here and there in several of the games. I think he may show a little bit more variety and get to the net a little bit quicker, but he's just going to keep plugging away and fighting, whereas Patrick can't get too complacent with a 2-0 lead.
He's also starting to hit. Jimmy is good approach shots, very solid. He does not look that tired, believe it or not, after all the effort that he's expended. I think he ought to go in a little bit more, Bill.
Back to deuce. Grimace from Jimmy as he lets it get away.
Patrick has just changed shirts. He's looking very fresh at this point in the match.
And another break opportunity for Connors.
As soon as I say he looks fresh, he hits a backhand. Looks like he was about as tired as he could be on that shot.
He has to be careful not to get emotionally down after that exciting tiebreak finish in the second set.
Back to deuce. Look at Patrick, and he looks very determined once again from the MetLife blimp stadium court. Just wide. Advantage McEnroe.
Good look at what Connors has done when he's been 2 sets to love down.
Saw that match against Turnforce. Great match at Wimbledon. Patrick McEnroe holds. of this opening round match, Jimmy Connors and Patrick McEnroe.
And Venus, at this point, it looks to me like Patrick is content to keep the ball in play. I think he feels he's got Connors where he wants him now. He's just trying to keep that ball in play, let Jimmy make the errors.
And at the same time, he's moving Jimmy around quite a bit, so he feels that maybe he could wear him down from a stamina point of view.
And when Patrick gets that opening down the line, he just seems to haul off and go for it. I think that's his best winning shot, is that forehand down the line. Watch it here again, because Patrick lines this ball up now. He sees his opening and then just goes for it.
But he sets his feet up real nicely.
Yeah.
A lot of times you see players miss that shot. They see the hole open court, but don't move their feet because they think it's such an easy shot. Can't take any shot for granted.
And now a break for Patrick.
Jimmy looked just a little bit frustrated. He's throwing the kitchen sink at Patrick, and Patrick seems to have an answer for everything. Jimmy's not playing badly. I mean, we've seen some great tennis today. Great exchanges between the two players, both jockeying for position around the court.
And he's also competed well, which is obviously what he does the best, Vitas. I mean, he has been down, he's come back. Like you say, Patrick's hung in there. New tennis balls now. They're changing here at 7 and 9. Patrick waving goodbye to a couple of spectators.
Well, whatever happens in the match today, I don't think the New York public will ever again think of Patrick McEnroe as John McEnroe's younger brother.
And will this be the last time that we see Jimmy Connors on the stadium court at the US Open? Only Jimmy knows that for sure.
I'm sure there'll be a bevy of wild card offers for Jimmy over the years, but Jimmy has so much pride in his game. He will only come to play when he really feels that he is representative of the best that he can do on the court. No, let's not get rid of Jimmy Connors too soon. I've seen him pull the Houdini act too many times.
Well, as we saw earlier there in that graphic, he has come back from 2 sets to love down so many times.
Scores from earlier today. Boris Becker through to the second round. Stefan Edberg dropped a set. Brian Shelton, Michael Steek, the Wimbledon champion in straight sets. Jim Courier, French Open champion in 4 sets.
And Stefan Edberg could have been down 2 sets to 1 as Shelton had 3 set points in that third set to go up 2 sets to 1.
And Ivan Lendl could have been golfing tomorrow afternoon if he didn't make that incredible comeback, being down 2 match points.
40-15. And he leads 2 sets to none over Jimmy Connors, and up a break here in the third set.
Love 15.
Love 15 as we continue to run through the scores. Mancha Sanchez Vicario, Mary Jo Fernandez. Everyone except Natalie Toziat through to the second round in the women's draw. Due to contractual obligations, except for those of you out west, we will be leaving you in just a few moments. This match will continue on the CBS late night wrap-up show. And for those of you out west, stay with us. We will take this match to conclusion. For those of you on the East Coast, and we welcome back those of you out west. Third set. Connors hanging in there. Was down triple break point. Now it's double break point.
Third and fourth.
One remaining. And once again, we've seen him do it a couple times tonight. Jimmy Connors climbs back to deuce.
He's not dead yet. 4 great points from Connors and a good touch on that little drop volley there. That was not an easy shot. McEnroe keeping the ball very low. Watch it again as Connors just wraps over this ball now. In quick. And right there, watch the racket face come back. Beautiful touch.
It's impossible to tell what the score is when you look at Jimmy right away, because it could be the first point, it could be the last point. He tries just as hard.
Five straight points from Connors.
And Vitas, you'd have to say the hardcore Connors fans are all still here.
And circle hardcore.
Yeah, a lot of them have left.
A few have left, Bill, but we still got a pretty good turnout here at 11:30.
Connors still down a break.
And both players, Barry, have been exceptionally accurate with their shots today.
Yeah.
Seems like they're just hitting ropes, line drives all over the court, all match long.
And it's a real good test for Patrick. As Billie Jean King says, you have to close. I love her expression. You got to close these matches out. And Patrick, right now, I'm sure is thinking, I got to figure out how to close this out if I'm going to win this thing. Against one of the best competitors in the history of the game.
$15-30.
Connors unloads on a great two-handed return off the swinging shot there. Catches Patrick.
And you see how quickly the tide can change in a set. Instead of winning the previous game, being ahead love 40, now it's a 2-game swing.
Jimmy Connors breaks back. 4-love in the third set. Connors has won 9 of the last 10 points.
Love 15.
15 all. Jimmy moved right. McEnroe went down the line.
Patrick really set that shot up with his low shot now. He keeps the ball low right here and sees his opening, takes his racket back nice and early, and then just powers it up the line. Nice safe shot, but all set up by that two-hander. Kept it nice and low. He has great control, Vitas, off both sides now. Much better than he did, say, even 6 months ago.
And now Connors down, facing double break point. This match 2 hours 22 minutes old.
First.
You also see two guys hit the ball much better than that. Jimmy on his toes again. Great preparation. Gets down really low to that forehand. Bends, gets the knees down to it, straight through the ball. Gets back into the center of the court, prepares for the next shot. Patrick hit it out.
Still facing a break.
It's an even game.
Oh.
Jimmy once again down 2 break points, pulls it back even to deuce. He's been doing that all night long.
Had 5 break points in the last 2 service games.
You never know by looking at Mr. McEnroe that Patrick's ahead 2 sets to love.
But if Jimmy evens at 3-all here, you're going to hear another pretty good roar from the troops that are still here.
The hardcore fans.
That's right. There it is.
The Warrior ain't done yet. Even at 3.
Barry, he's always been one of the toughest guys to put away in a match. Even if you happen to be playing better than him that day, still to put that last nail in the coffin is almost impossible.
Patrick's feeling a bit of that right now. He is.
You have to drag him screaming to the grave. Nope. And Barry, when you know that he's going to keep trying right to the very end, that works on you psychologically. You try to push a little bit extra right near the end, and you start to overhit a couple balls, and that opens the door for Jimmy to get right back into the match.
It was good, right on the sideline.
Love 30. Patrick's got to be careful not to let this one get too far away from him. He doesn't want to give Connors anything to build on.
Oh.
And that is ace number 9.
That took a vicious hop, skidded up, and just flew right by Jimmy.
He never heard it.
He can't believe he never saw it.
Two timely first serves from Patrick right there. He needed them both.
Perhaps Patrick sensed it. I mean, you don't want to give Connors the momentum, especially with this crowd behind him. Great record in 5 setters. Tenth ace down the line. So 3 big serves from McEnroe. 40-30.
And he went for another one. That's wide.
Deuce.
I thought Patrick rushed that one, Vitas. He really went for a big shot a little early there. That was not that easy a shot to hit.
And now Connors with the chance to go up a break in the 3rd. And he does. Connors is still alive. Up a break in the 3rd set.
Well, for all the folks that filed out of here when it was 3-love, Patrick McEnroe and 2 sets to love, they may be getting a report on their car radios or somewhere. This match is still very much alive.
Why don't you go take a nap and just let us play?
Take another look at it.
Good 3-point kick there ahead of the
Hard
point.
to tell.
Yeah, it's
Meanwhile,
impossible to tell on the replay.
Jimmy's reaction. Looks over at the chair. No overrule. And an ace. Ace number 1. 2.5 hours in, and Jimmy gets his first ace. 30-15. Patrick answers with a winner, 30-all.
You got to wonder what's running through Patrick's mind right now. I mean, he's sure that he had this thing put away at 3-love, and now he's suddenly in a struggle here. That's the one thing he has not been doing much lately, Vitas, is taking the ball and coming in behind it. He did that time and it worked for him. We'll see if he'll keep it up now.
Now McEnroe to break to even things up here in the third set. Connors slams the ball to the court. And we are back even.
Jimmy cuts the shot so fine on his forehand side. Never give himself too much room for error. Doesn't quite get under it and always clips the top of that tape. You pointed out before, very rarely do you see him hit the forehand long, unless he really mishits it. Jimmy has not won too many easy points tonight. Patrick has made some really good gets. This time, didn't quite see the ball really well, so he let the ball bounce, came back into the net, tightens up and gets it way out in front and puts the volley away.
You can see where he finished up there about a foot from the net. A lot of weight into that last two-hander from Connors.
Love 15.
That was vintage Connors.
What an angle.
He sets it up with that great preparation again. Watch him. He sees it go to the backhand side. Now he pulls the racket right back. You can't tell if he's going to go down the line or snap it back cross court. And he has the third option, the lob.
Took pace off that two-hander. Just kind of eased it when he saw that opening. Again, the forehand up the line when he needs it for Patrick.
And that's a shot that's really improved. A lot of players play to Patrick's forehand side.
They called that ball out, I guess. No, it's 15. It's 30-15 for Connors here.
15-30. Ah. 30-all. Little discouraging for Jimmy. Up love 30. Patrick McEnroe, very steady tonight.
You always try to hit the ball a little bit too fine when you're playing Jimmy. You know, if you don't hit it quite right, they'll put it by you.
Here we go. Break point for Connors. Five of 13. Break point opportunity. Jimmy Connors will be serving for the third set. And how many more of these opportunities will Patrick McEnroe get?
Another good opportunity squandered by Patrick. And you're right, Bill. How many more chances will he get like that in his fifth set? Jimmy pins him back really deep, and Patrick doesn't set up as well as he'd like to. Pulled up on the ball, headed into the net.
Just let you listen.
Thank you.
Patrick serving to stay in the match.
If Jimmy wins this match, the crowd's got to feel they played just as an important part in winning it as Jimmy.
Love, and I'll say it again, regardless of what happens, we have to leave tonight with admiration for both men.
That was a spectacular backhand smash. One of the toughest shots in the game to play. Patrick comes in and he commits his body weight forward, and Jimmy tries to sneak a lob up over his head, and he just snaps that two-hander for a clean win across court.
Fourth double fault for McEnroe. Still 40-15. Patrick shaking his head. 40-30. So when we come back, Jimmy Connors will be serving for the match. Connors waved the racket. They cheered wildly, and now he has a chance for yet another remarkable comeback. Eighth double fault.
Great point by Patrick McEnroe, fighting off the crowd noise.
Love 30. Unbelievable.
Patrick gets a hold of the second serve, comes up a little bit short, and he just lines up and drills it for a winner. And he's pumping himself up too.
Triple break point for McEnroe.
Jimmy lines up the forehand into the open court, straight down the line. Patrick couldn't retrieve it. Saves off his second break point. Jimmy getting down to the back end, shuffles over to the forehand side, sees the down the line open, and drills it. And Patrick just can't get to it.
He started with 3 and is now down to 1. Nobody told Jimmy the 38-year-olds weren't supposed to dance at this party. The pain in the legs from early in the match long gone. He has clawed his way back to deuce. Ace number 5. And now match point. Miles an hour on the serve. What tremendous pressure Patrick McEnroe has played under tonight. Both men.
Jimmy serves up a big serve, gets that short little backhand, just touches it out into the open court. Seems like a very easy play, but at deuce in the 5th set, serving at 5-4. Every shot is difficult.
Match point number 2. Patrick keeps firing back.
So all kinds of guts going for a winner. Down match point in the 5th set.
Hey, this has been guts tennis for the last 4 hours and 18 minutes. Patrick doesn't like the call. Thought the ball was out at the baseline.
Patrick complained about Jimmy's approach shot down the line. Bill, it's so tough to say on the replay.
Very tough. Generally, those are inconclusive.
But you don't have to explain anything about these emotions.
That is far
right
from
here.
inconclusive. Match point number 3. He's done it.